Too kind. It's good to be here to share my message this morning. I want to say I'll be nodding to you when I need the next slide. And also, there was something in the air yesterday. I was trying to put this message together, and I knew I needed to hurry up because there's a time limit. You've got a presentation to make, and there's technical issues to take care of. And I put everything together. I had the slides all made, and I was asked to share that with Shelby. And I was hurrying and putting it all there, and then my computer crashed. So in the process, I had to kind of start all over, and in the meantime, I lost some of the information and some of the slides. So last minute, I asked her this morning, and she said, nope, sorry, we have what we have. So we'll just work with what we've got, and that's kind of a good message for any time in our life, isn't it? Work with what you got. So here I am. I don't have a message of snow or reindeers or Christmas, but I have an enduring message about the soul. The topic here is I am. This is the journey of the soul. I'd like to invite you to a meditation. If you will sit comfortably in your chair. Let your hands fall to your lap. Let all the weight of your body sink into the chair. Now take a deep breath, allowing the light of the soul from above your head to pour down through your crown, your third eye, your throat, your heart, solar plexus, the sacrum, to the root, to the knees, and down to your feet. Feel the light and allow it to spread in all directions from the center of your body. It is from this place that you find your true self, that which sustains and guides you. It is here you can find the answers to all your questions if you are willing to listen. Listen now to that still, small voice and hear what it is saying. You are magnificently created. You are perfection. You see yourself and others with limited sight and don't yet see yourself as I see you. If you did, all of your concerns and worries would melt away like snow on a sunny day. You have much to do in this lifetime, and you are doing it just as you are. But take note, never compare yourself to others or try to mold what others are doing, for you are unique, one of a kind, and must go on your own path. You will know that path by what brings you joy and when you are in harmony. Do not be anxious for change to happen quickly, for change is happening all the time. Each moment brings a new opportunity to grow, to learn, to experience life in a new way, to evolve. It is all up to you. Come along for the journey. Or stay right where you are. It matters not. The choice is always yours. And our invocation, from the point of light within the mind of God, let the light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. From the center where the will of God is known, let the purpose guide the little will of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. And from the center which we call the human race, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Amen. Now take a deep breath, bring your hands to your heart, give thanks, and when you are ready, bring your attention back here and now. We know we exist in the third dimension. What does it all mean from the soul perspective? That which we call reality was created from the mind of God, from consciousness, the preeminent energetic force in nature, the undifferentiated, whole, perfect, and indivisible. From the perspective of mind as the creative life force in all things, and we the incarnate of that consciousness then, by reason we are not just human, as we like to say, but really superhuman, one of the highest co-creators of reality. In order to live cooperatively in this expanded view, we must pursue a deeper understanding of which brings a more fulfilling and awakened experience with Source through the soul. We acknowledge that by studying the ancient mysteries and following a spirit-led practice, we come closer to truth, and the closer we come to understanding how we fit into this experience and our role in it. As above, so below. I'm sure you're familiar with this phrase. It's from the Bible. It is the universal law of correspondence, which means everything out there is also in us. From the quantum view of matter to the farthest reaches of the universe and everything in between, there are corresponding systems in play. We are all reflections of higher beings and higher energetic vibrations. Like the law of attraction, which happens in us, also shows up out there in our lives and in our world. For example, the atomic structure, the neutron, proton, and electron. When we look into the heavens, we see the correlation in the sun, the planets, and the moons. The magnetic toroidal energetic field around the Earth is a replica of the one around our own bodies. Looking down at the Earth from a satellite view, we see how rivers course through the terrain in the same patterns as the blood vessels in the human body. Every system in nature is a mini-universe with energetic components of mind, spirit, and matter, all under the influence of the universal laws, just as it is in the cosmos. If we could look back at the universe from the farthest vantage point with the eyes of higher dimensions, we would understand how everything is connected. The old idea of the universe as objects suspended in empty or vacuum space, scientists now understand it to be more like a sponge, where everything is connected to everything else, that there is not one thing that is not. Quantum entanglement has shown us how this works. Science has discovered that a forest, which was once thought of as just as a group of plants growing and competing for nutrients, is now revealed to be an ecosystem unto itself with a network of mycelium, that's mushrooms, underground, connecting all life in the forest. And through this network, information about the health of all of its parts is shared, as well as nutrients. For those plants who are stressed from disease or insects, they get more nutrients, and it's usually from the older trees. We are the same, energetically connected to the all, and the all is mind. And yet we, from our dualistic way of thinking, we still think of ourselves as separate, individual entities. So understanding ourselves interconnected to everyone and everything helps us look out into the world in a new way. We recognize that we are not just, we recognize, let me say it another way. I recognize that you are just another me. We are all here playing a part in the great design of the objective, creating the subjective in order to experience itself. In this play, all parts are essential to the whole, just as all plants and trees are necessary to the forest. And just as in any play, each player who knows the rules and their part to play in it becomes an active, awakened, and consciously receptive participant. The universal law of rhythm says that everything moves in cycles, in and out, up and down. The ebb and flow of the ocean from the energetic pull of the moon corresponds to the woman's monthly cycle. From before our birth, we move from the divine into incarnation, through our lives to old age, and then back to the divine. Understanding these laws of nature and how they work helps us understand this reality, ourselves, and how the soul is moving in us. As above, so below. We create a pathway for consciousness to expand as the soul becomes increasingly more consciously active in us. Excuse me. Next slide. Let me catch my breath here. Now, I know this slide says 7 phases of spiritual growth. I'm not going to talk about that. It was just a really good picture, so never mind about the 7 pathways. You'll figure those out. So all life is change, and all change is necessary for the evolution of all things. Our spiritual growth happens in cycles, from birth to death and life to life. Earth in the 3rd dimension is the most dense material of all the dimensions. And what this means for us as humans is that we take a very, very long time to change, to evolve. There are, however, signs all around us that that change is happening, and right now more quickly than ever before, at any time in the past. And this is a good thing too, as the earth has been signaling us to make these changes for a very long time. Paying attention to the signs has been our failing. So too in our lives we can see how that has played out for us individually and as a species collectively. As we start to awaken and live more consciously, we get a clearer perspective of how the soul has been directing us all along the way. Why our lives happened the way they did. Life doesn't happen to us, but through us. Now I'm going to do something, I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to use myself as an example. So I'm going to share all my things that I probably want to hide, but I'm going to just put them out there for you so I can explain a little bit what I mean. So for my calling in my life, my calling is as a communicator. My soul, acting under the laws, has facilitated me through times of great joy and times of crisis and suffering to this end, and I'm sure for everybody else. From the consciousness of our family, our nationality, and the world at large, we gather the tools and beliefs to bring the soul contract to form. Under the law of duality, there are inherent qualities of light and shadows, polarity, which is necessary to experience these in each lifetime for our evolution. So the soul said, okay, so you're a messenger, communicator. Let's see how you handle these challenges. So here's my list of soul attributes. I will give you the attribute, and then I will give you the light and the shadow. So the first one is love of language. I took a course many years ago to learn to speak French, the French language. And it was difficult, and it was challenging, and then I had to speak it over a microphone to 400 people. So I trained myself to do this. And at one point, I remember a lady saying to me in her own language, no, she's from France, and I had to correct her. So I think I accomplished my goal there. That's my light. The shadow was being introverted as a child, very shy. I was afraid to speak up or speak out. I wanted to hide all the time. My next one is a love of music and performance. I find my light in freeing my voice through song. And my shadow is being terrified of performing in front of an audience. The next one, my belief that I'm not good enough. I kind of think this is kind of a universal theme, so I'm sure you'll identify with this, many people. And the light was finding out that my words had value through my personal interactions and public speaking. My shadow, I had a family culture of shutting down my thoughts and disallowing my opinions. And another another experience came again really hard when I had to move away from my family. I was seeking a divorce from my husband, and my children were taken away from me. And it was a confirmation again that I was not good enough. So there's many other examples that I recognize even today, but now I just regard them, I let them pass. So Socrates said, an unexamined life is not worth living. And so to that end, I am working. I have to stop here because this is where that other slide was supposed to be. So my apologies. I've got a list of things that are more practical about spiritual awakening. The first one is discipline. Have you ever heard anybody say, oh, I'd really love to learn or do or be, fill in the blank, but, and there's always a big but, followed by whatever that excuse is. What they're really saying is, I don't have the discipline for, or I don't believe I'm capable of such. The next one is self-reflection. Do you listen to the words you use? Do you praise yourself and others, or do you condemn? What are your struggles? The next is meditation. If it's not a daily practice, I would suggest it be one. It's where you hear the still small voice. Listen more than you speak to hear it. Soul speak happens when the mind is still. It can happen in waking moments as well. I remember recently, I was talking to Charles a while back, and he made a remark about something I said in a talk I gave. And when I spoke in reply, it came from my subconscious. In other words, I had not formulated a conscious thought to speak. Only after saying the words, I recognized where it came from. Allow your body to inform you when you're trying to make a decision or appraise a situation. The vagus nerve, which is called the second brain, connects the brain and the gut. This is a physical connection of the soul energy that we recognize that manifests as feelings and intuition. Know that life means change. Keep yourself awake. Don't go back to sleep. Reverend Judy reminded us thus a while back. Don't go back to sleep. Don't get stuck in repeated ways of being or thinking, or you will literally turn to stone mentally, emotionally, sometimes physically. The only way to your light is through your shadows. Recognize it, welcome it, give it thanks for the gifts it has given you, and when you are ready, let it go. Remember, what you resist persists. Entrain your mind to think in terms of oneness. This is the way of the Christ. He told us that we are never alone and that we are connected energetically to all that is living and inanimate on earth and in the universe. And last, discover your soul mission if you haven't already. Where is your soul guiding you? When you know this, you will know the meaning for your life, of your life, and where your areas of service lies and your responsibility. So in conclusion, when we wake up and live in this larger, more comprehensive view of ourselves, we can no longer live from our small self. Spirit reminded me that it is not that man fears that he is insubstantial. What he fears most is his greatness. It is in recognizing your greatness you understand your responsibility to the group and to the whole. So what is your responsibility? I say, be of service to humanity, to help further our evolution, working toward goodwill to one another through love, understanding our relationship to all people in our lives, the ones we love and those we call the ones we hate. The ones we love, that's easy. We identify with them as reflecting the love we have inside our light. And those we hate or oppose or think ourselves better than, in reality, they're just reflection of our own fears, faults, and failings, which we hide, our shadows. So when the bulk of humanity can perceive everyone with no impressions of judgment, no divisions, when our blindness, which we created out of duality, falls from our eyes, and we think and act from this state of consciousness, then the whole of humanity will have moved into unity and will live from love. We will no longer think in terms of what is good for me, but what is good for us. It is from this state of consciousness that each one of us is working with its gifts and talents and takes its place in the great plan in service to the creation, the all. Here is where the I of the I Am is building what is called the Rainbow Bridge and bringing heaven to earth. Thank you. Namaste.